Hello, everybody in Facebook world. We're so excited that you're going to join us for today's Lunch with Lucy. We're going to get started in a few minutes, so hold tight. We'll get started at noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. Just one more minute, folks, and we're going to get started.
Hey, Kathleen, how are you? Cheryl, so nice to see you. Oh, I'm so happy, Cheryl, you could make it. Thank you, Kathleen, for joining us.
All right, welcome everybody. We're going to wait a couple minutes to let everyone join. So settle in and we're going to get started in about 2 minutes. And if you're just joining, you can add your name and where you're from into the Q&A box, and we'd love to see where everybody's watching from today.
Oh, that would be great to know where you're from and what company you are from.
Let's see. We've got Ormond Beach, Florida. Hello, Brianna. And Marion Post from Medford, New Jersey with BHHS, Fox and Roach. We have Kathy Glenn, Coldwell Banker, Atlanta. Welcome, Kathy. Brad Griffith from Medina in Minnesota. We've got a great mix today.
Oh, very nice.
We have Cheryl McAuliffe with Coach in Garden City, New York.
Hey, Cheryl.
Ooh, we've got Jay from Salt Lake City, Utah with Century 21. Chris Berry, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And Robin, I can't see where you're from, but welcome.
Here is Lucy. Hi, Lucy. I'm Lucy.
Okay.
It's now streaming.
All right.
It's now streaming.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for Lunch with Lucy. My name is Kate Remillard. I'm a marketing manager with VH2 Studios, and I'm happy to be here with you today as your MC. There's just a few housekeeping items to share before we get started. I need to mention everybody obviously is muted except for our panelists. If you have questions for our guest, please feel free to add them anytime to our Q&A box on your screen, and we will be sure to get those answered towards the end of the session. Also wanted to mention that we will be choosing one person after the webinar to win a 20-minute virtual consultation for one of your listings with our guest of honor today, Master Stager Birgit Anich. And the last thing that I'll mention before we get started is I want to give a big shout out to our first 5 registrants for the webinar. People are Barbara Langley, Reginald Reeder, Gino Grasai, Adela Spira Stopka, and Lucy Drew. And speaking of Lucy, I'm happy to introduce our hostess with the mostest, Lucy Edwards.
Hello, everybody. I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm looking forward to spending the wonderful 30 minutes with you. And most importantly, I am absolutely thrilled to introduce the amazing and our guest for today, and truly a power player in the staging industry. So let's meet Birgit Anich.
Hi, Lucy, and hi, Kate. Thanks so much for having me today.
Absolutely. Birgit and I, we met a few years back at one of the conferences in Connecticut, and we've been friends ever since. And we actually did a wonderful video for her on staging from A to Z. So it was a great experience, and it's such a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you, Birgit.
Thank you, Lucy.
So you can see all the awards and everything that that was achieved by Birgit. So she is amazing with a lot of advantages. And I'm so sorry, I'm in the office today because we don't have air conditioning, nor do we have electricity. So here we go. So please, so Birgit, let's go to our first question.
Yes, so tell us about your background and how you got into staging and how long you've been doing it.
Sure. Well, since I was a kid, I really wanted to be an interior designer. Life, however, didn't take me that route initially. And I got 2 master degrees in business and economics, and then started working in the market research industry. And while working, I was like, oh, now I can go back to school and maybe get some interior design education, which I did. And then a few years later, I saw an HGTV show called The Stagers. And I realized that this is exactly what I wanted to do. It really could bring all my education from the business aspect, as well as the passion for interior design, and my other passion that I have for photography full circle, and I could help home sellers really getting homes sold. And so I got a certification in real estate staging, and soon thereafter, BA Staging and Interiors was founded in 2009. And a couple of years then into the business, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to be trained and more in depth by one of the main stagers of that same HGTV show, Matthew Finlinson. And this took my knowledge and approach to staging to a completely new levels.
Oh, that is what a great story. That's a great journey.
Yeah, it's definitely fun.
So what would you say staging in today's market? It involves so much, and how is the business now in the current COVID climate? And how is today's market, and you know, and like the clients and the sellers are calling you, or the agents mostly? Actually, I was at Inman yesterday, virtual Inman, obviously, and they were talking about Connecticut, for example, and how Connecticut is crazy busy right now, like never before. And actually, there is no inventory left. Everything is selling like hotcakes, and because a lot of people are moving from New York City. So
Right.
What would you say about your experiences in today's environment?
So as you just mentioned, Lucy, like, yes, we have now here in Connecticut, we have a switch from historically since 2008, we pretty much had a buyer's market, and now we have a seller's market. And in the past, between March and June, we had like 10,000 families change their address from New York City to Connecticut. So, which is compared to the year before, it was only 1,200. So it's a huge jump. And that we definitely feel here now in the current real estate market. And we have been staging quite a lot of properties since the reopening, the partial reopening. We're still reopening slowly in phases. But we also see, on the other hand, that a decrease in terms of like people recommending, like real estate agents recommending staging for sale. And I think that's mostly because of, they say, we are selling so quickly, we don't need to stage. However, not realizing that the home seller leaves money on the table. Staging, it doesn't matter which type of market you're in. It doesn't matter if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, is really, really critical to maximize the dollars for the home sale.
I agree with you. And it's also investment in your branding and in yourself. The same thing with professional photography, and that's what VHT is all about, and professional approach and marketing strategy for every property. It is so important to follow that rule for every listing and from A to Z. And obviously, and we'll talk about it later today, that you have various approaches for staging. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, and how, Birgit, how do agents find the right stager?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Kate. And because staging is really an unregulated industry, that means anybody can just call themselves stagers. So it could be the mom who's like, who was told by the neighbors, you're really good in decorating, you should start a staging business. And they can, the next day they can say, oh, I'm a stager. And so it is really important, because as a realtor, you're out there and being a professional, to bring in onto your team other professionals and not hobbyists. So there is a difference between a professional stager and a hobbyist, in the sense that as a hobbyist, you don't know what you don't know. You don't have the education behind it. Staging is, because hobbyists think like staging is just making a space look pretty. And that's not what it is. There are many different aspects that go into a successful staging. So ask, what is the education behind that person has? And what's the continuous education to stay on top of the new staging trends and new design trends? Ask if they're an active member in one of the staging associations, such as HSRA, IHOS, BRISA. And also ask for the portfolio. I think it's so important to ask for that portfolio to really see many projects, and not just like one project photographed from different angles, but also ask specifically, are these photos really your work? Because I had the situations where photos that like our stagings had been taken off our website, and I found them on other people's, on other stagers' websites all of a sudden, or stock photos. And this is not the right way of going about it. This is like already somebody who, you know, like you don't want to do business with. And how long have they been doing that? And do they do it full time, or do they do it part time? There's a difference between a full timer and a part timer doing it.
Just like with real estate. If you're a professional realtor, and
Exactly.
if you are working on weekends, it's one thing. If it's your full-time job and you are devoted to your profession, that is the same approach. And we feel the same about photographs. Photography is very important. So we always encourage agents to hire professional photographers and not run around with their cell phone or camera. You are hired as a professional, and you should follow from the beginning to the end that theory.
Right, and I think it's also important to really not just look at what's the proposal price or anything, because typically those who are really low in their pricing are the ones who don't have the value behind, because they don't have the experience, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the education behind it. So they're not just being inexpensive out of the goodness of their hearts. They just don't know what the real value is that they should be bringing to the table, and the inexperience is reflected in the price.
That's great. Well, tell me please, what does your team consists of, and where do you keep all your furniture and your accessories? So tell us a little bit about the process of that.
Right. So besides myself, I am the creative director as well as the CEO of the company. And we have also a marketing expert who does do fabulous work here. And we have a logistics and warehouse coordinator. Our warehouse is about 7,000 square feet, and we have truckloads of things moving in and out all the time. So it's really, really important that we have somebody dedicated to helping us with all that. And then because we have just a vast inventory of rugs, furniture, artwork, lighting, accessories, down to the little pearl necklace on the nightstand. And, and then we have staging assistants, and we have movers who work with us on all projects as well.
That's an amazing warehouse. I had never seen so many pillows in one place, not even in the store.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's impressive for sure. And then what types of staging do you offer? And would you say that staging is primarily geared towards luxury listings?
Okay, so our company, we specialize in staging vacant properties, new constructions, and model homes. But we also offer a wide range of consultation services. So we offer the do-it-yourself verbal staging consultations, which can be done either online or in person, so in-house then. And we also offer a service called Review My Listings, where we give really we take a look at the listing, at photographs of the listing, or possibly a video of the listing, and give it an attractability rating. Like, how attractive is this property in its current state to potential buyers? And then we give recommendations on what are the main things that you could do to improve that attractability rating. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and because of lots of these consultations, we do have, we come across that often things that come up during consultations are paint, could be lighting fixtures, it could be updates in various areas of the home, in which case we do give paint color consultation, lighting fixture consultations, countertop consultation, tiles and other finishes that we can help home sellers to really find the right pieces to really be attractive to the home buyers.
Well, tell me please, do you believe that there is a psychological approach to staging? And can you tell us a little bit more about that? And for example, do your photography also, you photograph before and after? And I see, I'm looking at your samples, all your photographs are amazing. What a great quality. So you follow through again from the beginning to the end. So, but let's talk a little bit about the psychological approach to staging.
Yeah, so there is definitely a psychological approach behind staging. Not everyone understands this though. And again, a lot of people think staging is just making a space look pretty. It's just about decluttering, tidying up, organizing. While these things are all important, they're not staging. They're just the preparation of the homes for the showcasing and the merchandising. So the showcasing and merchandising, that's then the staging phase. Actually, I don't even like the expression home staging that very much for that reason, because all the articles out there are always talking about decluttering, depersonalizing, and cleaning things. I like to use the term property merchandising instead of home staging.
Very fancy. But when you stage, do you consider what the photography will look like for the realtor to advertise for the next step? What is your approach for that?
Lucy, can I just dial back a little bit? Oh, sure. I have one more thing that I wanted to add to the psychology, really. Mm-hmm. So in the end, it's with our psychological and strategical selections that we make for the stagings, we are not just plopping in furniture. We want to give the buyers a sense of where the sofa goes on the TV, but it's also about all the little details, the style of the furniture, the accessories, the artwork. And we want to be able to guide the way we place things and the way we strategically place also colors. We want to guide the eye through the room and extend the spatial perception in a way that it shows the property at its maximum potential. So we are taking it to the next level by not just incorporating demographics, but also taking into consideration psychographics, lifestyle merchandising, and architecture and location of the property, while we translate it all into a meaningful staging design. And nothing in our vacant staging, nothing is left to randomness. Everything is carefully and strategically selected as well as placed.
No, I can see that based on the photos, it's amazing, and you certainly have a superb taste, that's for sure. I can move into any of those rooms right now and enjoy myself. So like here, for example, I can see that you were thinking through for the photograph. I can still enjoy everything, like the windows to the left, and the light fixture is amazing. You have the mirror above the fireplace. And it's very nice, modern, clean look. And the photo looks fabulous because you thought through for the photography as well, so
Right.
the agent can advertise it.
Yeah, this is really where we really our strength is, because of my other passion for photography. Everything I'm thinking of when staging is placed in a way that it is in with the photographer in mind. Where is the most likely spot where the professional photographer will take the photos? And understanding the negative space and how to incorporate that understanding to make sure that the photograph doesn't look boring and doesn't look too bare or too cluttered. It's all about, like, photography and staging is really like dovetailing. They go hand in hand. A photo is only as good as what goes into the camera, right? And if what goes into the camera is not prepared properly, it will show in the photograph. And also, I'm also saying a listing is only as good as your worst photo in your portfolio that you're showing. Like, because like you have a high standard, and if there's only one photo in there that is not living up to the standards of all these other photographs, it drags all the other photographs down in terms of quality, and also the quality perception of your listing as well.
I agree with you. All you need is one amazing image. I even have a video on that. Right, so let's look at some before and after photographs of your work, and we will be able to see that not all listings are high end. Someone just mentioned not every realtor has a multi-million-dollar listing, and
Right.
I certainly agree. Actually, sometimes I would, if I were a realtor, I would rather have $500,000 listings than one $25 million one. So, and we will see the samples, I understand, Birgit, where you have different price ranges.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Kate, can I ask you a question looking at this photo?
Yes.
Where does your eye go on this photograph? What do you think about that photograph?
Yeah, so my eye first definitely goes to that bold rug, and then immediately to the books on the bookshelf. It's a bit cluttered, I would say.
Okay, do you see really the rest of the room?
No, I don't see it at all. I'm really stuck on those two areas.
Yeah, so if that were now a do-it-yourself consultation, I would recommend like removing the rug and possibly ask the home seller to invest in a more neutral rug that is maybe a one-tone color, just to give it less distraction. I would remove the armoire all the way on the right-hand side and that chair, and replace it possibly with a piece of artwork. And then in the bookshelf, absolutely, you really hit completely all the things that you mentioned. They're really like absolutely to your point. What I would recommend, taking out 75% of these books and turn the books with the pages forward. So you just turn them around. Right now you see all these colors of the different covers of the book covers. And in order to unify them more and become that more of a plain level field, so they can really focus more on the room, I would turn the books around and fill in with some accessories in between, and work in odd numbers, in 5s and in 3s, having them laying and standing up and alternating them. So
Very cool.
And that rug has to go.
And that rug should
Yes.
go, yes. So, but like you, Lucy, you have the after photo here too. We took it to another level here. So we were hired here in this case, not just for the consultation, but we were hired to really help them doing the execution and bringing in the rug. And we brought in a fresh coffee table, different end tables, different lamps, but we worked with their sofas and their pillows, and organized the bookshelves. We brought fresh books that we had in our inventory and brought those in to fill in here with accessories.
No, it looks lovely. And again, the lighter color rug, that looks beautiful. I like the lamp, so it's much more stylish. And it looks like it's not a very expensive investment as far as a different style furniture.
Right. And we just put like key pieces like that we exchanged. We didn't do everything. We wanted just the key pieces because they had neutral enough sofas and neutral pillows. So that was great. And we just wanted to really give it a more soothing color palette.
Great. So well, we can look also at the occupied sample. Here is the paneled walls to the left. And
love that, huh?
I am so not into paneled walls. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it. It's just my personal opinion. And again, if I were to be a buyer and I walk into the room on the left, it would really turn me off. And the first thing I would think about that I have to remove the panel walls and then put the sheetrock and then paint everything. It's a lot of work, but you have such a great solution here.
Yeah, so here in this case, that solution is naturally would have been our #1 recommendation, but the home seller's budget did not allow for that. So what we did instead, we came out with the next best thing is really painting the panels, painting them, freshening them up, giving it a new style, basically, those panels. And we also changed the sconces above the fireplace away from the traditional. They still have some traditional elements in it, but there are much more modern lines because we needed to, I love the word, I call it to my clients always youngify. We need to youngify. So, that's what we were doing. And we took also those blinds that are uneven down to really get the eye dragged out into the backyard, which is so magnificent of this property, and maximize the light that comes into the room. And then we staged it. We also did remove the carpet here.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, and I assume the hardwood floors were underneath. Yeah. Yes. So it's just so much more attractive and clean looking. I just had someone asked a question. There are a lot of questions, so we need to make sure that we have enough time for questions. Yeah. You cannot unmute yourself. We'll just wait till the end, so just please be patient for a few more minutes, and then we will take all the questions. There are a lot of them, Birgit. So that is great, though. So here is the wallpaper. Hello, wallpaper.
So here, wallpaper, especially this particular wallpaper, just has a dated feeling. And it was also peeling off in some places. So we said, like, let's take the wallpaper off. Again, the traditional drapes we took off. And the lighting fixture was so traditional. Again, we needed to youngify this a little bit because of the target buyer that we are having. And then we staged it. So we really brought in a transitional style to really match the home as well as the target buyer, to marry the two together.
Looks beautiful. Absolutely. It's just day and night. Oh, here we go. That is the vacant sample. Look at that ceiling on your left. They forgot they're not Michelangelo, so you certainly converted that one.
Yeah, we use the high gloss paint here to really make a difference in texture as well, to really highlight that even more, but with a monochromatic color scheme. And they removed those old-fashioned drapes and painted, and then staged it.
Very nice. And I love the photo, that the quality of the photo after. Again, you know, I'm looking at everything from my point of view as the company that offers professional photography, and I certainly enjoy it. And I love the way the furniture was put together, that you also took into the account that the photograph will introduce the beautiful ceiling and the windows and hardwood floors. So it's great. Let's look at the next luxury new build sample. So this one is, I can see it, definitely a luxury listing, open floor plan. You can put beautiful furniture here and a lot of it, but you did just right.
Yeah, so with an open floor plan concept, it is so important to define the different areas for home buyers, because it's only about 10% of buyers can envision on how a space could look. And vacant properties are just like so hard for them if the areas are not defined. And that's why vacant properties tend to sit longer on the market, because it's just, first of all, there's no emotional connection there, that you can focus only on the vacant, and then you have no idea on how to really set it up the proper way, or give them an idea of how to set it up. There are always multiple ways of doing it, but this really helped define the areas between the casual dining area and the family room area. It really made it nice floor and traffic flow as well.
Cool, very nice. Let's talk about staging secrets. So with so much that goes into the staging of home before the home goes on the market, what are some simple things that agent and homeowner can do to prepare?
Well, first call a professional home stager. And do this with enough time in advance on when you want to put the house on the market. Don't just call the stager like 2 or 3 days prior to the professional photographer coming in, because otherwise you're limited to what can be done within such a short time frame. If there is more work needed, then you just simply don't have the time to do that. And then you, again, don't maximize the perceived value that you're putting out there and the dollar value that you can achieve from the sale.
So what would you say the most important rooms to be staged?
The most important rooms are always the main living areas. That is the living room, family room, dining room, kitchen, master bedroom. And the master bedroom is important because of the emotional connections there as well. And then I also say, like, okay, if you have like a secondary bedroom that is small in size or quirks in layout, I think it's important to stage that one as well.
Cool. So we're gonna finish up here with this last topic, which is super important, how to overcome hesitant sellers. So what kind of pushback from sellers or resistance do you run into, and how can you overcome it, and how, what advice can you give to agents that are having some sellers that don't quite want to give up their precious space?
Yeah, so I think it is not easy to bring up the topic of staging, but it is part of the marketing, and it is part of selling a product, because once a home is being put on the market, it's no longer a home, it is a product. And in order to sell that, we need to merchandise and market it as such. So emphasize the importance of staging as the #1 marketing tool as part of your listing presentation. And don't say like staging is a cost, but explain that staging is an investment and that they will receive a return on the investment at the end of the sale. Using statistics that are very helpful. Like, I just can give you some examples. Like, a study of the National Association of Realtors shows that professionally staged home can sell for up to 20% higher price than if left unstaged. The same, like the Real Estate Staging Association, RESA, conducted a study, and they discovered that professionally staged homes sell on average 86% faster.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
is amazing statistics.
Yeah. So like, if you think it from an investment point of view, let's say you have a client who invests, like, let's say 1, maybe 2% of the listing price into staging the property. And let's say they sell for 6% higher than if they left it unstaged. That would be a return on investment of 300 to 600% by just having that higher price point. And that does not yet take into consideration, but that by selling faster, you save on the back end also on mortgage costs, interest payments, you save in taxes, you save on all other insurance and all the other carrying costs as well. So thinking about this, like, which other investment can you think of that gives you that kind of return of investment within just a few weeks or a few months?
And I remember you mentioned once that some sellers hire you way before they put the house on the market, just to understand what has to be done. And then when they have the consultation and just the consultation, they are convinced that they should hire you to do the full job, not just the consultation, because they understand that they're just so far away from being a designer or decorate their own home. And yes, they can paint, and yes, they can replace the rug, but that's as far as they go. So they, more than on a few occasions, you have been hired by the seller before the house goes on the market.
Right. So the most successful home sellers are those who contact us. Like, it's funny, that's the discovery that we have made over all these years, is like when they contact us before even they contact the realtor, these are the most successful home sellers because they understand the value of staging. They will do everything that they need to do in order to get it prepared and then bring the realtor in, who then has a different point of view already coming in, seeing something, first of all, that's ready to go, which a realtor loves. But also it immediately increases the perceived value that the realtor has, and like in terms of the price opinions, that's their thought behind it, why they contact the home seller, the home stager first, and then we help them through the process to get there, to get it all ready.
Cool.
All right, so we're going to move on to Q&A. We have a ton of questions, so we'll try to get through as much as we can here, and we'll finish up. So we have a question from Julie Yabara, and she wants to know, what is the difference between a stager and a decorator, and would or can a professional do both?
So staging and a decorator and designer, they're very different professions. They share the same principles of design principles. However, the way you go about the project is very different. In decorating, you look at it from what the home owner wants and likes and how they feel comfortable and what's the most best functionality for them while they're living there once they have the house already purchased. Whereas the staging is looking at it completely purely from a marketing point of view. And we have had many beautifully designed homes by interior decorators that we had then to stage and take down the personal aspect from the design out of it. And there are two different skills, two different knowledge levels and knowledge bases between the two of them.
We have a
Very
question. Do you give free estimates, and do you follow Feng Shui?
So,
Did I pronounce it right?
For vacant properties, if there are in our market area, if I don't have to travel like over an hour or so, then we give free estimates. For occupied, it always starts out with a staging consultation because every home is so different at what the needs are for each property. So we always start out with a staging consultation, and then we will see where we take it from there and what's needed, and then can prepare a proposal based on that.
Okay, we have a couple questions about virtual staging and what your thoughts are on virtually staging a vacant property.
So that's a very good question because it has come up in, especially more so in the last couple, like half year really. And virtual staging, in my opinion, has its place and has importance in a couple of scenarios. One is when you have a foreclosure property and it's vacant and there is absolutely no budget there for doing actual staging. The other is for new constructions that have not completed the building process and you want to showcase how it potentially could look once it's finished. However, it was also good during the time when we were in Corona, when we couldn't do in-home visits. So it was good to at least grab some attention and define the properties. However, don't forget, the buyers have a certain level of expectations. Once they see a photo online, they can go into the property and they expect exactly what they see online to see there when they walk into the home. However, you immediately disappoint them the moment they put the foot into the door by not seeing what they have expected. And again, you're selling from scratch a vacant home because they cannot make the translation from the virtual staging to this. Plus in the virtual staging, you can put whatever type of furniture in whatever scale in. That doesn't mean that that particular king size bed actually fits into this small bedroom. It's just not representing the proportions right either. So I think there are definitely places for virtual staging, but it is not a substitute to physical staging. And we have already seen, like as I'm part of the Home Staging and Redesign Association, I've heard from other stagers as well around the country that they had now, after they reopened, they had to come in and start staging these properties that were initially virtually staged because it didn't work.
Right. We have a question from Karen. What and how do you charge for your staging services?
Can you repeat it? What and how?
What and how do you charge for staging services?
Yeah. So basically, staging services, is this now for vacant properties? Well, it really depends. There's always, like, into the pricing that go multiple components. It is the part of the rental of the items. It is the delivery and pickup, and it is the design fee, installation fee. So, and this is all part of that goes into the overall price of a proposal.
So do you give estimates? How does that work? Someone asked about the estimate.
Yeah, so it is basically, we're taking a look at the property. It can be done online. If there are photos available, floor plans available, we can do it online in most cases, except for luxury properties. We really prefer seeing the property in person, and can provide then a proposal based on that.
All right, I would love to get to the rest of these, but I think we should wrap up here. We're over time. I just want to thank Lucy and Birgit so much for talking with us. You're brilliant. I think we all learned so much today. Tell us where people can find you and your company.
Sure. So basically, you can go to our website, bastaginginteriors.com, and contact us through our contact form there. You can also request a quote there, look up through our portfolio. Then you can reach us at 203-807-4040. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And we also have like a channel that we have created. It's called BA Studio TV on Facebook. And you can join us there. We share constantly information about real estate. We have like bringing experts in and interview them about real estate, staging, and lifestyle.
And I would like to mention, we have a lot of unanswered questions. We will get to every one of you. So Kate, Birgit, and I will get together and we will put the questions and answers together, and we will distribute it to everybody, because some, the questions are great. And I'm sure that everyone would love to know the answer to them.
Yeah, and can I just like mention one more thing? I have like also put together for everybody who is here on the call and is interested in a cheat sheet about how to, how, Karina, how is it called? Like how to present staging to clients. So it's a little cheat sheets with statistics and great information on there that you can incorporate into your listing presentations.
No, that
Yes.
is a great idea.
And we're going to be sharing that link with everybody who attended. So check your email in the next day or so. We'll include a link to Birgit's website as well, so you can contact her. So
Cheryl McAuliffe is saying, I need you, Birgit. Yeah,
no,
so that is
everybody's
great.
like, how can I contact her? As we wrap up here, please be sure to text the word Lucy to 31996, and that is our survey. So you can share your feedback about today's Lunch with Lucy, and then you'll be in the running to win that free 20-minute consultation. And then visit bht.com/learn to register for our upcoming Lunch with Lucy's. We have one coming up on the 19th. We'll be speaking with 2 marketing experts from AdWorks, and you're not going to want to miss that one. So with that, I will say have a great rest of your day. Again, thank you, Birgit, and we will see you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.